standing here next to the latest Fiat 500. It's the 500X, but it's much bigger than the original 500.
Yes.
Now, tell us about this model.
As you see this vehicle, yes, it is larger than the original 500 because this is the 500 crossover, which is going into the SUV section. At this point in time, we're looking at the competitors that are in the same sort of class as your Nissan Qashqai, your Mini Countrymans, and your, I think it's your Peugeot 2008s. So you're looking at that sort of range in terms of size here.
Now, what would you think would be the most important feature to make people buy this car?
You couldn't even begin to single out one specific feature because I'll tell you, one of the comforts of this car is the ride comfort, your noise levels on this car. But one of the main features that is left over from the Chrysler collaboration on this car is that you have independent suspension on this car, and you have McPherson at the back as well with your tubular. So it gives you a lot better ride on this vehicle. And then also,
Is that the Jeep connection?
it's coupled with the Jeep Renegade in terms of the suspension. But along with that, what really makes this a good ride is the fact that you've got your 3 drive mode selectors, which gives you your all-weather mode, which gives you your traction control for wet conditions, and then also your sport mode, which delivers the extra boost, which then allows this vehicle to use its full capacity in terms of kilowatts and newton meters of torque. Which on this vehicle, while we're on that subject, on a 1400 turbo multi-air, you're getting 103 kilowatts at 4,500 revolutions per minute, and you're looking at 230 newton meters of torque at about 1,780. So you can see she starts to pick up very low. So it is all inherent from the 4x4 aspect. Europe, obviously, we know that there is the 4x4 version, so we're looking at the remnants still of that. And then the other thing that makes this a really very good vehicle in terms of your handling and your safety, you've got all these safety features which can be added to the vehicle, such as, for instance, you have the blind spot warning system, you have the lane changing warning system, and you also have what they call adaptive cruise control on this vehicle. So to explain that would mean that as you've set your cruise control, if you're approaching a vehicle from the rear which is driving slower than you, the car will slow down of its own accord until you've corrected the lane change, and the car will pick up to the speed that you've set in itself. You have various options with the vehicle. You have what they call a visibility pack, which allows you then to have a camera, which allows you a rear reverse camera, which then also gives you, as I said, these lane changes on your rear view mirrors, warnings. And you also have the comfort pack, which in this instance, this vehicle that we are looking at has that. It changes from a manual climate control to an auto climate control. It then also gives you electric lumbar support on the driver's seat, and it also gives you the center armrest, the fold-down center armrest, which on the standard vehicle is not an option. It's not standard. This is an option. With the safety pack, you have 3 phenomenal features. One of them is brake control. Now, the brake control, even if you don't have your car in any specific cruise mode, the radar detection, which is situated in the front of the vehicle, would slow down your vehicle if it senses that you were going to have a collision. It would slow it down, and it would even force you to stop, because what will happen is that the steering will become rigid, the brakes will become, so basically it's forcing you then to take control of the vehicle. So it is a very forward-thinking vehicle. That is where the excitement part comes in the vehicle, because it really makes driving this vehicle an exciting aspect of life.
Now, all these features, what will the cost be? Because normally a car with features like these, they're not cheap.
Yes. Funny enough, it's not that expensive, because one looks at the safety pack at 4,500 Rand before tax. You're looking at the visibility pack at 4,700 Rand. And then if you're going to upgrade to have your navigation and your 6-inch screen, which now the car currently has a 5.5-inch screen, then that would cost you 12,000 Rand. So if you do the full hilt, you're looking at about 20,000 Rand for the total upgrade on this vehicle.
What will the the ultimate price then be?
The ultimate price from there on would be the standard price on the vehicle is 344,900. If you upgrade it right to the top with on-road cost, you'll be looking at about 387, depending on color choice.
How come then, the obvious question, because of fuel prices, what would the consumption on this vehicle be?
Average consumption on this vehicle is rated to be 6 liters per 100 kilometers, but we've actually had a test done by an independent dealership who've actually got figures as low as 5.4 to 100 kilos. But we'll stick with what the book says, and we're looking at about an average index of about 6 liters to 100 kilos. Sorry.
Still on fuel consumption, what about a diesel later on?
Well, we can't answer for that at this point in time. We do know that there is a 4x4 2-litre diesel in Europe, and there's a 2.4 4x4. So whether that's going to meet our price bracket at this point in time, we do not know. This vehicle, as it stands here, I'd vouch for it that it is spec'd to be a 4x4 at any time if they do decide to do that, because of the massive amount of torque that you have with this vehicle.
Okay, then what we normally do, if people want to inquire and want to come for a test drive, your number and where they can contact.
All right. So if anybody would like to have a test drive, they could contact me. My cell phone number is 060-348-3837, or you can contact me at the dealership 039-315-7788.
Malcolm, thanks very much. And it looks as if it's going to sell well.
Thank you very much. I'm sure it will.